I've done a lot of work on Sabbath. Sabbath is the crown of creation. 6 days God's creating everything. It's good. And 6th day he creates you and me, and that's very good. But the 7th day is holy, he says. That's the crown of creation, which is Sabbath. Sabbath is woven into all of creation. It's not going to go away. And again, when we understand the purpose of Sabbath and we practice that as Christians, we, first of all, it's very countercultural. So we're saying we are set aside. It's something that the world is really hungering more and more for. I think whether or not somebody is a Christian or a non-believer or some other faith, that we all have this feeling that the world's speeding up and it's a more anxious place to live in. And Sabbath is the medicine that people need for that now. And so the ministry tries to, if you will, to champion things from Scripture and Christian tradition that maybe don't have an advocate other than us. So
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Do you have a Sabbath routine yourself and how you honor that?
I have been keeping a Sabbath for as long as I've been a Christian now, for 20 years. I have by the way, when I speak with people, and I'm frequently in front of colleges and everything, I have to tell the truth. There's just so many people out there not telling the truth. So I have the least desirable kind of Sabbath. Because I travel and preach so often on Sundays, my Sabbath gets moved around. We try to make it within as close to 7 days as we can. The ideal is to land it every Sunday. If somebody can't do that, and I work a lot with ministers, then the ideal is to land it on another day reliably, whether that's Friday or Saturday or Monday, if possible. I have the least desirable kind because I want to give Sabbath to other people. And so the last 3 Sundays I'm preaching on first I preached on work, because that's part of the Sabbath. 6 days you shall labor and do your work. Because Saint wants us to neither work very well nor rest very well. That's his plan. Then I taught on rest, and the 3rd Sunday it was on how do you rest then every day in your salvation, in this glorious relationship with God that we have. And so my routine, if I had the ideal, and some months I do have the ideal, will be Sunday. Really, in our mind, it begins the night before. There's just something lovely knowing you're going to... By the way, we just had the best Sunday of the year. It's an hour longer than any other Sunday. That's
right.
Yeah, it's always the best. And so,
absolutely.
And so this Sunday, this Sunday, I did not preach. It's the 3 Sundays before that I preached. This Sunday, this past Sunday, I got to go to my own church. I got to sit and not preach.
Yeah, enjoy.
And hug people and talk to them and everything. Yeah. And then we came home, and we always go for a walk on that day. I sat in the sun, which pours in the south. I live in an apartment, but it's a perfect solar apartment, literally. And I even have solar panels on the roof of this apartment building.
Wow, yeah.
But so my window faces directly south, sun pouring in. I got great speakers about 3 feet from each of my ears.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Wow. Yeah. That just is, if that's the way you relax and can recuperate after those weeks, I think everyone has their place where they can just sit and you just relax, and I'm with you. I love that, the idea of, seeing the books in the background there. I actually, sometimes I feel like a hypocrite, but YouTube is my way of learning in the same way as with books. I guess maybe it's a visual thing, but just the amount of knowledge on YouTube is it's like my library in a lot of ways, and I wish I could visualize that in a better way. I wish I had a way to visualize all the YouTube videos that I've watched rather than all the books that I've read. But it's I think everyone has their place. And to you, is the point of Sabbath is that rest? Is that what it's designed for at the core?
Absolutely. It's rest. It's and it's coming into a time where God, although he's always with us, although he's always imminent, it's more apparent because we have time to focus on it. And there's so many things in the world that want to distract us, hold our attention, entertain us, etc. To slow down and to come into sync with God is, to me, healing.